The following content has been provided by New St. Andrews College in Moscow, Idaho. For more information, visit us online at nsa.edu.
Hear the world calling, but son, don't you listen. They're only trying to drag you back into prison, that's right.
Welcome back to What Have You. I'm Rachel Jacovic.
I'm Bekah Merkel.
And we've met this time just a few days late.
Yeah, it's Saturday now. We
Saturday.
meant to have something for you on Thursday, but it's the first week of school and life is
Things
careening.
is rough.
Yeah.
We've barely, I feel like on Thursday we periodically spoke through the day, but there was no time that it would have worked to do a podcast, so we
it was
didn't.
epic on Thursday. Well,
But
the
we're
whole
here
week.
now, guys. We're here. We're alive. Becca's been through multiple hospitality ventures.
Multiple. Like, it's the first week of school, so I teach every day. I've got 4 classes a day. So I was back for the first
And I don't
week.
even know your schedule yet, so I don't even know when I'm likely to be able to talk to you.
It's hard. Well, it's actually the same exact as last year.
Yeah, I still don't know it from last year.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I had that. So zooming through the first week of school and kids are back and we still didn't have enough khaki pants or protractors. I felt like we...
I ordered Lena some polo shirts because I have to wear polo, and the whole time we're like, well, they will be here on the first day of school, which is fine because you got to wear dress day stuff, so it's no big deal on Monday. And then Monday the packages came and we break them open, and I don't know, I must have been ordering from some double alternate Amazon brands. Because in the picture it just looks like a basic woman's polo, but it was a Korean men's polo. And I only know, it said Korean on the tag. It was like, that didn't say it in the listing. It just, when you got it, it was clearly another nation's idea of a polo shirt. And it was really wide and short, and like it kind of had like big dropped shoulders. And I was like, aren't you so glad? And the best part is I got her some really cute dress pants that at the same order. So it was just very comic to be like, well, here's the cute pants, and you got nothing to wear on top.
Well, and so we were doing like deep searches for protractors all over the town. Anyway, it was a lot of frenzy, and then I was back to school, and then Thursday we had 40 people to dinner, 40 college kids, freshmen to dinner, and that was Thursday night, the day that if we had been
we
really
should have been
last minute,
podcasting, right?
Yeah, so we had that, and then on Friday, which if you're following me closely, that's the very next day.
Right.
I was organizing / cooking much of the food for a picnic for 250 people. So this is all layered over the top of the first week.
What we're seeing is we
Back to
have really
school.
legit excuses.
I cooked 64 pork roasts. 64. That was too many.
I was going to say, that seems high.
Yeah.
How much is in your freezer
too
now?
Many. No, the question is, how much is in my garbage? Because after you cook that much, you don't want to talk about it anymore. It's like, don't
You
speak
should have
to
taken
me.
it down to the Humane Society.
The thing is, it was more than I needed. But it was 64 roasts that I cooked, and then I made so much.
So
barbecue
basically,
sauce.
it was like
So
a roast
much.
for every 4 people.
Yeah, there were those little small sirloin tip roasts, so they were small,
So
but
that's
they
not
were
impossible.
still.
That's not
no.
impossibly, yeah.
No,
I see
and
your
I
point.
was doing the math for 240 people, but you don't know how much are you going to end up with on a sandwich. And I would much rather throw stuff away than run out. So, anyway, and I just bought this giant pot at Costco, actually, but it is enormous, and it is already my trusty steed. Like, I have used that thing a lot.
Is that like a stock pot? Like a
huge
like
stock pot. Huge.
Nice.
And then I went to the restaurant supply and bought a ladle that hangs on the edge of it.
Oh, yeah,
which
that's
just
everyone's
is
favorite.
Wonderful.
That is the best idea,
It's such a great thing to have. Anyway, so I used my giant pot on Thursday and made a huge thing of chorizo lentil stew. And then on Friday, they left, I dumped it out, and I started in on this vat of barbecue sauce that was probably like 6 gallons, maybe more, of barbecue sauce. It's a lot in a pot. And it just kind of gives you that feeling that maybe you're done with barbecue pork sandwiches for a while.
Yeah.
Just maybe not.
Anyway, when Luke and I did that
potatoes.
Trinity Fest, I was just starting to feel sick, morning sick with Daphne when we did that big dinner. It was like 800 people or something, but we had, was it 800?
I think it was 4.
No, it was a lot.
Was it more than 4?
I know, we had bone-in chicken breasts that they were growing,
yeah.
so we had 750 pounds of raw chicken.
Oh my word.
And I was morning sick, and it was a long time before I cared to see a chicken with a bone near it. Like a mighty long time.
Yeah.
I was just not involved with it much for a while after that.
No, I remember that was an epic time of grilling.
Yeah, I wasn't grilling. Luke was doing the grilling, and he got heat exhaustion. Like, it was like hot.
Yeah,
it was August.
it was crazy.
Yeah, so they had to.
But we got through it, and it was great to get through it. I got some other ladies who were wonderful who did like the brownies for me. That was great, and somebody else did the coleslaw for me, which was great. I got some help with the potatoes, but we had like 120 pounds of potatoes, so I did 60. Somebody else did 60, but still 60 pounds. That's a lot of potatoes.
I don't know if we've talked about this, but a thing with feeding crowds that is up until I believe the number is 40. 40 is a pretty magical number somewhere in there. Up to 40, you can kind of make more of what you were making.
Yeah.
After 40, you have to think of new ways to do it. Like, you're like, now we need like other equipment, or we have to make it ahead and do this, or we have to do, it becomes a whole other thing. Like, you need a professional
Well, we're doing
kitchen.
this once a week. We're having 40 college kids for dinner, and I'm just
soup
doing
is
soup.
better. Soup is better for the crowd.
I'm
it's
doing
doable.
Well, this week, because of the way it was, I did not do homemade bread. I went and shamelessly bought many loaves of French bread. But the week before that, I did...
Give it a few more weeks and you might shamelessly buy some pop cans of bread.
Pop cans? Oh, the biscuit tubes?
Yes. Tubes of bread.
But I'm trying to do just some homemade bread and a big pot of soup, and it's very low-key, and it's...
that's what we did last. Well, it's what we're about to start doing again for our parish group.
Yeah,
in the fall, and that's what we did last fall for it. And I used my commercial rice cooker. That's like a 60-cup rice cooker.
Really smart.
So I'll make soup and then put the soup in that.
I'm just doing. I'm not even like setting the table or anything. It's just I have it stacked up like a buffet, and you can take it out on the porch and sit down and eat, or hang out inside, or you can just find your own way in the world. You know. So that's exciting. That's why we're 2 days late in the podcast.
That's one of the reasons.
And Rachel came and saved my bacon at the last minute last night, setting up for this picnic, because she brought all of her children who are like amazing little assembly line helpers. So
it was like a trifecta of things that
it was great.
That would thrill them. They were there with cousins. They were around food, and they got to be involved. They love to, if you say, I need you to shuck corn, they're all over it. Like, anything that is...
Oh, yeah, and I had them packing up little boxes of
they loved
potato salad and coleslaw and extra barbecue sauce, and they were just assembling boxes so fast. It was great.
So, but about the first week of school, I told someone, and I can't remember who, that we would talk about lunch packing, and then I told someone else that we were going to talk about it, because people are all wanting to know. So now we got to cover the lunch.
Maybe this will get me
geared up,
back on track. I've been on various tracks with lunch packing. Right now I'm on no track at all. So
but it's not. I think it's important to notice that you will always have doldrums of these things, because you can't stay constantly excited about what's happening in brown bag lunches. But what I do, which has been this is one of those things that gives me a more pleasure maybe than is reasonable. I'm not sure.
I've heard your system before. Are you still doing your system? That's the question.
Yeah.
Really? It's like a sustainable system?
Sustainable, survivable
all right.
system. So I have a bin in the fridge, I have a bin in the cupboard, and I have a bin in the freezer.
Okay, stop and talk about the bin.
I bought them at Bed Bath & Beyond. They're actually for this sort of thing, I think. I mean, they're like fridge bins. You can buy a fridge bin. It's like a
hard
clear
acrylic.
It's just a hard plastic clear drawer, but I mean, you could use whatever, but you can see through it. Yeah. And then the one in the cupboard. One's in the cupboard, one's in the fridge, and one's in the freezer.
Okay.
So, the freezer, we freeze sandwiches.
Yeah, I did that when the kids were littler.
Yeah, so you can freeze, if you make a PBJ, you can freeze it if you put peanut butter on both sides of the bread. Mm-hmm. If you PB both sides lightly, then you can put jam in the middle, and then the bread won't get weirdly crystallized on the jam.
Yeah, okay, hold on, I have to say something.
Yeah.
When I was in the thick of this, when I was making multitudes of PBJs every morning, and now my kids pack their own lunches, so I don't. But when I was doing that, and I'm streamlining, and I'm making like loaves of PBJs at a time, I just decanted the jam into a squeezy bottle, and then you can go real fast. Okay. It was a good system. I really liked it. Anyway, go ahead. Keep going.
When I make a fleet of PBJs,
you don't decant your jam.
I don't. What I
like a squeeze
is
jam.
So what I do is I plow through with the PB, and then I come back with a spoon for the jam. I spoon a blob on everyone, and then I smear it with the back of the spoon. So I don't get any PB into the jam.
That's the part I hate. That's why I like the squeezy bottle.
Yes. So, important topics.
Having covered the jam in front.
If you make a sandwich that you want to freeze that is meat, then put like butter. Mayo is not, like I have little deli packs of mayo that they can throw in their lunch if they want one, but it just lightly butter both sides of the bread, and it keeps the bread from being weird when it thaws. So you need some kind of a barrier, but not mayo, because mayo is not the one to freeze. And then you, and also cheese freezes fine, but it might be like crumblier. So, like if you froze a slice, it might crumble more when it's done. Yeah. But it won't be bad, but it's just something to be aware of. So we freeze sandwiches. And I have sandwich rolls that I'll make a huge double batch of sandwich rolls and slice them and then freeze them sliced in sandwich bags. Yeah. So the kids can grab one out and stuff some meat in it or whatever.
Help me with this, because I've done that a lot. But one of the stumbling blocks is when they thaw out and then they're soggy. So, if you freeze them in a Ziploc bag, when they thaw out, then they're kind of gross and soggy, and so we ended up taking them out. I freeze them in sandwich bags, then pull them out, and then drop the frozen roll just in the brown bag. And then
I've never had my kids complain about this, and I haven't been eating it, so I guess
my kids complain about it. So I don't know if
so. You have another system. My kids don't.
Well, I just mean if it thaws in a paper bag, then it thaws normally. If it thaws inside a plastic bag, it gets condensation.
This has not been a problem in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
You should go ask them if it's...
Well, they are all so excited to have them for their lunches, and I don't think they're grossed out about it.
Yeah.
So then the thing in the fridge, so what I'll do is the cupboard bin is dry snacks. So it might be granola bars, or it might be crackers, or it might be... I don't usually pack desserts for them, but I'll buy...
Goldfish or something.
Well, those chocolate covered pretzels at Costco. Yeah. Those Snack Factory ones. So I'll buy one bag of those and a couple bags of the plain ones. So I'll put a bag of plain ones with
mixed.
2 or 3 chocolate ones in it. So there's some dessert bite, but it's not that much. So that's what I put in the dry bin, and then in the fridge I would put things like bags of carrots or cheese or salami or olives or those little fruit cups or pineapples. Or dip, sometimes they'll do carrots and something. But they get to pick, so cheese sticks, whatever, they get to pick. I would usually say take 2 from the fridge, 1 from the dry bin, 2 from the cold, and something from the freezer. They pack their own lunches in the morning. So I just keep the supplies full, and they get to choose from them. But I found it was super handy, and I haven't been doing this, but I recommend it. And I know a lot of you are probably homeschoolers. Having your kids pack their lunch in the morning is still not a bad idea because I did it with the little kids that I had when they were home. They pack a lunch too, when the big kids were doing it. And then when they wanted a snack, I had to get something out of your lunch. Like, they would just keep their lunch, because the big kids would have a snack too. And then when it was lunchtime, they'd go unpack their lunchbox and eat it. And we were already done with that. And before I switched to the system, it was like we were still recovering. I would barely get done with cleaning up from breakfast when it was time. Because then what would happen is breakfast would be breakfast plus lunch making mess.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
So, and you're like, so now there's more mess than there would have been just from breakfast. So by the time I get that all cleaned up, we have to make a new lunch making mess. Like, we're like, I cleaned that up. Now we're making the next mess for lunch. And then when I cleaned it just seemed like we weren't having a lot of...
And then it's right about time for after school snacks.
Right. But the thing that probably pleases me the most in the whole thing is that because the dry bin of snacks is something that I just have going, and I buy snack bags or, I have a lot of sandwich bags, is that I will just throw, when we're down to like a few of something, then I will just throw it into snack bags in there. So like if we had tortilla chips with dinner, but you have like a stray handful in the bottom, I hate the mostly empty containers of crackers or chips,
bag of
or
chips with a quarter cup in the bottom.
Yes, this languishing thing. And then, or like I had a big Costco thing of peanuts or something, the big tub. So like when it got low, I'm like, I throw it in with some pretzels and a couple bags. So there's a variety in there all the time for the kids.
That's actually really handy, because I hate like a graham cracker box sitting on your shelf that has a quarter of a shard at the bottom.
Like my cabinets are way cleaner, and the reality is that for me, when there's a most of the way empty cracker box, it's irrelevant, because if I'm looking around for something, I probably need to like make snacks for 7 people. So like something that has 4 crackers in the bottom is not going to get us anywhere. So this has been a way that has made me move through things so much faster.
That's super smart. My fridge right now is a real wasteland, because I have been
focused on other things.
Well, no, it's been full of
other food.
A lot of other stuff. It was like a lot of pork, a lot of potatoes, and I was getting that feeling of like, I need an entire walk-in refrigerator. I have to have it.
This is what happens with big event things, I think, though, is that you get this weird feeling that all you've been doing is buying food, but there isn't any.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, the only thing I've been doing is going to Costco, going to Walmart, going to Winco, and then I look for it, and then, like, there's no lunch. Yeah. I'm like, what have I been doing? That happens to me. But another thing we do sometimes is skipping the sandwiches. I'll make, like, tortilla wraps, like, make some, I haven't done this, but haven't you done this? Tora, I feel like, recommended the already cooked like buffalo chicken strips or something.
This was a great idea for kids that have away games where like they're going to be gone after school until like through dinner, so they have to pack a dinner, and that's tricky because they have to take it with them in the morning. But
who wants it to be old and
like
junky?
Sit in their locker, So this was a great tip. And my kids adored it. You get one of those great big, like, oversized green tortillas and put ranch dressing on it, chopped iceberg lettuce, and then one of those frozen buffalo chicken strips. Like, throw a couple of those in, wrap it up like a burrito, and it just thaws during the day. And kids adored that one. I need to bring that one back.
So sometimes I put like a wrap in the fridge bin, might be what you could have for lunch. But
I've also done a thing of making like sort of frozen burritos, a whole billion frozen burritos, and those everybody's very happy to pull out. Of course, that's when that's the kids who can microwave.
Yeah, my kids aren't.
Those are good for packing Ben's lunch though. Sometimes.
Yeah, that's
where you
nice.
just put in, beans and rice and beef and everything, and then freeze those individually.
Totally.
And those are great.
Yeah. So anyways, that was my lunch system. It's nice for me because one thing I haven't consistently done this. I only started trying it at the end of last year, but I thought it was Sunday nights tends to be the time that I would go to the grocery store with like, we have to be ready for school in the morning. So I started trying to have my older kids come with me, and I would give them like an idea, like a budget idea, and had them decide what to buy for lunches
Interesting.
And basically give them, like, I would have them help try to plan it. But there was one of the things that was most helpful about that was my children saying, it's really hard to think of something that everyone would be excited to eat or something like. And it's just good for your kids as often as possible to actually notice the other side of the situation. There's something, I wasn't really worried about that, but it was still good to see them being like, this is really tricky. It's like actually helpful.
Yeah. Okay, I have something that I think we should talk about.
All right. I'm ready.
It just hit me.
I'll brace myself.
I've been thinking for the last few weeks, we should talk about that. And then I haven't remembered
do it. Talk about it.
And that is the Sabbath. Because, especially in these moments of my life where we're going full throttle and everything's totally nuts, and I was telling Ben the other night, I was laughing, I was like, some people, it feels like, manage to live in the center of the merry-go-round, and they're pretty calm. I'm like, we're way out on the edge. We're like flying off and spinning around, and there's a lot of torque sort of happening way out there. Anyway, you know that vibe.
Yeah.
And we all move.
You're like, you cannot be feeling what I'm feeling.
So we all move. You know, sometimes there's times where you're way out there. Your legs are flapping off the side, and then there's other times when it's kind of calm. You're kind of in the middle, and everything feels under control.
I would say, though, that as a lifestyle, you and Ben are usually on the outside of the merry-go-round. I would say that Luke and I are, we are like, I think we play between the outer edge and the in a little bit.
Yeah.
We're a little bit in.
Yeah.
But not always.
Yeah, not always.
Sometimes we're really flapping in the breeze, skinning the knees of our tights off in the drainy ditch around the merry-go-round.
Everybody has seasons. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Some people, their seasons seem to be a little bit less, I don't know, rollicking. Anyhow, during the really crazy
or maybe
stretches,
they just don't get as motion sick.
Maybe. That could be it.
Like, isn't this a blast? Isn't this a blast?
And somehow their hair isn't like flapping in their
You're
face.
like, I don't know. You look to me like someone who cannot be experiencing what I'm experiencing.
Well, so when we're in one of those seasons, I feel like just having Sunday becomes very sweet. Where it's like, treasure it, milk it for all it's worth. Yeah. Really get your money's worth out of it. Out of a Sunday.
On the Lord's Day.
And it's very funny because we didn't grow up paying any attention to Sunday as being distinct with what we did. And then sometime around when I was in high school,
we didn't talk about
it.
Because Dad preached, Sunday was always different for us. But it was not.
We always went to church, but like we would maybe do homework and we would do stuff. And
we
never
were
really thought
we
about
were not theologically Sabbatarian until
Right. So like maybe in high school is when.
But we always prioritized worship.
Oh well, worship always happened. I just mean like what you do with the rest of the day.
I just wanted to get that.
Yeah.
For people who don't know us.
That's true. Yeah, no, we grew up with that. But I remember Dad saying, we need to treat the Lord's Day differently. When
actually
I was in high school. And I remember you feel like, what?
Who's making me do this?
Who's making me do this? And immediately you conjure up visions of Little House on the Prairie.
You're trying to say that all I can do is watch the clock tick.
Yeah, because it's Little House on the Prairie. We all remember that. You have to sit quietly and you have to only look at boring books.
Someone mean is supervising you, and it's either a mean grandparent or God himself has become that person.
And you can't play. You can't do anything
fun.
Don't
you laugh.
Yeah.
Don't
talk above a whisper. Yeah, it's really, that's terrible. But the thing is if you think about working, if you went like to work for a boss who said, now here's one requirement I have. You must take a day off. Can you imagine people being like, what? How dare you ask me to take a day off?
This is the worst.
And the thing is it's actually a really sweet blessing to have to just take a day off.
Yeah, it's the best.
And, and the thing is, it's never been,
I sometimes hoard things that I wanted to work on that's like self-indulgent.
Yeah,
like
where it
fun.
feels like I get to do this
I'm
because
like,
it's
on
Sunday.
I'm going to go down there and I'm
So-
gonna mess around in my yarn room. That's what I'm gonna do.
Or I might go out and work in my garden because it's like I haven't had a chance to all week, and this is so fun because I had so much work to do.
This is peace
So,
and fun.
Yeah, and we don't ever treat it like how much energy are you expending, and
No, it's not like freeze.
Not like
be
that.
still.
no, but we've always like it's just a time to like have a day off, and Ben and I
I'm
were
just gonna
talking
say,
about this
it's
because
bizarre that this is as uncommon as it is
Uh-huh.
among Christians when it is one of the 10 Commandments.
yes, it is. But
Yeah.
people like to, well, because
They interpret it differently.
Jesus
yes.
did say, the Sabbath is made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So then people tend to think, oh, right, we don't have to worry about that anymore. I'll just work 24/7. But it's actually just a really lovely thing to not.
I've actually found, for a long time, so we don't believe that this is like we're not like Jewish tradition where
No.
if you moved something, then you're in trouble because you worked on the Sabbath.
If you
or
push
if
the
you-
button on the elevator.
Obviously not, because we're talking about cleaning the yarn room and gardening. But the idea being that what we do on Sundays is at peace. It's not our normal work. It's just
Yeah,
whatever.
unless the ox is in the well and you just have to do it.
Sometimes the dang ox is in the well and you have to do something. But
although a couple weeks ago I was saying like, what if your ox is in the well but you pushed him in?
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
like,
question.
are you allowed to get him out? Because we did stuff that ox down in there.
Yeah. and one of the things that I noticed was that I think that my definition of rest was wrong. Like sometimes I was like, but for me, I realized whenever you find yourself doing this, you're on the wrong path. But this is what I was doing when I was on the wrong path. What I was doing was thinking, but I don't want to just sit in my house when it's not clean, when I feel like I want my house to be together. It's not peaceful for me. It's not peaceful to take a day off of the housework.
No.
When I know we have all this laundry, or when the house is not together,
dirty dishes from lunch.
and I'm like, who wants to be here? Like, not me, and I don't want to be. And so, it was like that element of like, but I'm not enjoying this. Like, this is not nice rest. Was my feeling.
Right.
And I realized, though, that I was still letting things sneak in because I was not taking God at His word that this would be like my definition of what rest should be was wrong. I was thinking like to adequately rest on the Lord's Day, I would like to feel. It's like it would like to be like going to a retreat.
Spa.
Yes, somewhere where I don't have a visual on my work. Like, what I don't want to do is sit here and see it. Like, I don't want to see it. And so I would do other things and, I just try to kind of not. I just wouldn't do laundry, wouldn't clean,
Yeah, we stay away from
the normal
vocational
grind.
Yeah.
Like, so if I had to prepare a talk for something, I would not do that on Sunday. I would wait. If I had to,
I don't
if you had to
grade
prep for
papers.
teach, you wouldn't do that Sunday.
But, like, for instance, if we're getting ready to do a fun lunch with the family, we'll totally go to the grocery store.
Or I will clean the kitchen as we're making
let's get those pots and pans. Or we'll hit the grocery store, but I would not go do my weekly grocery shopping on Sunday.
No, I wouldn't do that either.
No.
So, the thing that struck me, or on Sunday, I might rearrange a room, but I wouldn't go clean the bathrooms and try to do, like, I might be in a, like, what sounds fun, I'd like to do this. Mm-hmm. So, one of the things, though, that I found is that when I just go ahead and obey first, shocker.
Funny how that
shocker. When I just go ahead and take the day off, whether or not I thought it sounded fun to be in the house with it not all clean, the thing that happens is that we go 6 to 6 from like Saturday night until 6 at Sunday. So when it hits 6 o'clock, though, I am so ready. Like, and it's funny because since doing that, no matter what, like since high school, we've honored the Lord's Day differently than we used to. Yeah. But since in different phases of growing older, I've changed some things. But now Mondays are one of my favorite days.
Okay.
And I think it is because I was thinking of rest in a very different way than the rest that it actually gives me. Because the rest that it actually gives me is I am like so ready for the week and like, let's do this thing. Let's clean this up. Let's get this laundry done. Let's do all this. And I've even started, I used to sometimes go out like on a Sunday afternoon. I might go try to be somewhere else in part so that I was not witnessing what I needed to
Sure.
do. But even that I found to be less productive, because if I just stay home, I get so much done Sunday night, and it's like,
well, and we just have this, it's just sort of turned into this, but after church on Sunday, we'll just think like, okay, what would be fun to have right now? And we try some random new recipe. We get the whole family sort of in there. It might be where we just experiment with something. We open a nicer bottle of wine. We end up sitting down, and it's just like a fun, long, kind of very, very unplanned and very mellow and very, I don't really care how long it takes to cook or when we sit down, or it's really
fun.
Relaxed. It's not how you would ever do it on a Wednesday night, And because the summer has been really crazy for us, and Ben and I were like, we didn't really take any time off at any point. Like, we went out on the boat one Sunday afternoon and got the terrible, everything went wrong. And we had to go get rescued. That happened once. And we made it out one other Sunday afternoon. And that's the sum total of our, vacation time.
Right.
But in a season of life where you're just running like that, it's like, well, guess what, though? We didn't need to take a whole week off to go somewhere, as fun as that would be.
We had a day off every week.
Because it's like, God actually built that in, didn't he? Like, and if you just take advantage of the weekly break that
what God gave
you,
yes,
it actually, you can keep on.
Yeah, and that's something that I've said many times to people, is they're like, because talking to moms or encouraging people, when you're encouraging people, you have to assume that they need to be encouraged, which means that some of the field of people I mostly talk to are discouraged moms, people who are in that, so in that field of people, how common it is to think, I just need a friend, I just need someone to help with this, it's a list of things that we need that is in some way not really attainable. It's usually I just need,
a break. I need a vacation.
Yes, I need something to not be what it is. But the funny thing is how often it's like, if you actually needed something, the Lord would provide it.
Yeah.
Like, what you actually have is what you need, because it is what He's given you. But one of the things that you're pointing out is that here's the Sabbath, a weekly major boost and help that the Lord not only gave it to us, but requires us to do it.
I love that He says, "Hey, take a day off," and people go like, "How dare he?"
This is so.
Does he not know?
Restrictive.
Yeah, and it's very funny because you can either view it as something that's being taken from you.
Right.
He's taking away my chance to do the dishes, and
I
he's
loved
taking
my
away
work.
my.
Yeah.
Or he's giving you something,
A huge amount
but
of
I'll
freedom.
Tell you, let's just do a quick peruse of some of the temptations that go with this. Ready? You ready?
I want to say before you peruse them, when Dad first told us this is what we were gonna do, and we were all like, "You mean we don't get to do our homework on Sunday?" Which seemed a little bit like a shocker, because of course we weren't doing our homework on Saturday, because you still have another day of the weekend, so you're not gonna do it on Saturday because that's your day off. It's like so funny. We're like Saturday's my free day. So Dad switched it to us. He said, "No, I don't want you to say you don't get to do it. I want you to say you get to not do it."
Yeah.
And it was like, oh.
I get to not do it.
You're like, well, I see this in a different way now.
Yeah.
When you say it's Sunday, you get to not do that.
Yeah.
You're like, awesome. Love that.
Well,
about
I'll
Sunday.
tell you though, here's where I
Sorry,
think,
you're going to say peruse the sins.
yeah,
the sin catalog.
the sins that come along in the caboose.
Yep.
Of being on the Sabbath. Here's one that I remember this, especially when the kids were smaller, and I think I had that idea that you were mentioning, where it's like,
this is not peaceful.
It's not peaceful for me, because where I'm just like,
one time
the idea of going to lay down or something on the couch
One
while
time-
the lunch mess is everywhere is
Okay,
sort of
so
hideous. It is hideous.
This is a aside. One time when I had to do a bunch of physical therapy and stuff after the twins because I had some major back issues and stuff after having the twins. So at one point, and this was physical therapy for like I couldn't stand up straight if I was not doing this stuff. So it was painful. It was not good. I am lying down on our floor trying to do some of my little like physical therapy work, and my children, including, so it was 4 of them at the time. I don't know, Blair was a baby maybe, were running around me in a circle. Just hotting it like fat toddlers in the loop running. And then I think it was Lena says all of a sudden, like, now I get it. She's an obstacle course. And I feel like, this is what you mean. This is not chill. This is not rejuvenating. This is not peaceful. I'm trying to lay down, but I am an obstacle course. Anyway, sorry, that was a little...
No, so here's the thing. Here's what can happen. Let's say the rest of the family has kicked back. They're schnoozing. They're reading books all over the floor. They're all having a glorious Lord's
guys
Day.
think...
And then you can start feeling like, fine, everyone else appears to get Sabbaths.
I guess.
Moms apparently don't deserve Sabbaths.
Because moms have to be the fussy. Bussy and fossy. You know what I meant.
The fussy
bossies of the world.
Where it's like,
maybe I'll just walk upstairs with a little bit of a about it, and then I'll be up there wondering why no one comes to ask me how I'm doing. How dare they not check?
Nobody
They
noticed
don't even care.
the cool vibe
They're
that
in
I
the
was
thick
giving
of
off.
their
being
Calvin
very
and
cold.
Hobbes.
And so it's like,
Because they don't
you know,
care
you're
about
like,
me. They don't value my
no.
work.
And it's not peaceful for me if the dishes are out, so I am going to have to do the dishes because apparently
I don't get
no
to
one else
take a nap. Yeah. This hopefully is mostly set in your head and then shut up.
Yeah, so the thing is,
Don't do that.
Like, just try to enjoy the day and the
Yeah.
chance to not have to worry about it for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then get back in the groove. And
Something
like you're
that
saying,
somebody-
it's like it's a little rejuvenating afternoon, and then hit it in the evening.
And then
Because we
you're
take
like,
Saturday
oh.
evening off, so that's why we go to Mom and Dad's. Well, we'll do it in an hour.
Right, we have a big
We go
Sabbath
to Mom
dinner
and
and
Dad's.
kick it off.
We kick it off. We kick off the Lord's Day Saturday night at 6. Mom does a bunch of the cooking, and we come and have a big, lovely family dinner, and then it's sort of, that's the beginning of the Lord's Day. And then 6 o'clock Sunday night, we hit it again.
We
like,
run to Winco.
run to the grocery store, get ready for the week, all of that kind of thing. But it really, like, if you can lay down your treasured notions of how you would like a calm, peaceful afternoon off, or go do something fun somewhere else.
Yeah,
Go,
change
just
the
leave the
scene.
house. Just go out.
That I do, although the more busy our life has gotten, the more I'm trying to not do that. The more I try to actually just like, you know what, I don't want to go run and do anything. I want to put my feet up and read a book and just not do anything.
And-
because then by the time we get to 6, I'm actually still have some energy. You can burn all your energy having fun or relax. You're like, oh, let's go on a
But you
long
know-
walk in the country. It's delightful. But I don't, right now it's not strategic for me.
No,
because
and
then
the
I
thing
end
is-
up tired.
You know that kind of guilty pleasure of there's a bunch of laundry to do and there's dishes to be done, but I'm in the middle of a really good book and I really don't want to put it down.
Just read it.
But it's like, but guess what you get to do on Sunday?
Read
You could
it.
maybe just ignore that stuff.
Okay, speaking of books, I think I mentioned that I've been reading Missionary Biographies, right?
Yeah.
So, one that I just read recently was, no idea what it was called.
That's helpful.
It's about Isabel Kuhn, I think.
Okay.
Anyways, the important part that I was going to bring up was a quote. One of the things I love about reading these old missionaries, a lot of them who all knew each other kind of like in the 20s, there was like, at Moody Bible Institute or whatever, there were a lot of them were very, they were very influenced by each other. So it was like I heard so-and-so speak and this was their message and I carried that with me for the rest of my life. Like this was something that I came back to. And it's funny because I have two things about this. One of them is how much of the theology we disagree with in a lot of these. Yeah. And that has been a really neat thing for me to see, not because it's changed my theology, but because you feel like it gives me such a bigger perspective of God as a father. Because when you have someone who you think is being a little bit nutso about something or very wrong-headed about something, but they're still giving their testimony with God's tender care of them and how he brought them through different things, and you think how much God loves this wild diversity of children that he has, and that when you hear other people talking about him, it's like, well, this is my father who I know really well, but here's one of my siblings talking about him like they
know him well too.
They know him well too, and they know him, and this is what's funny. It's one of these weird contradictions. They know him the same and very differently. Yeah. Like, they know him, right, but they know parts of him that I did not know. Sure. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've seen a side of him that I did not, and that I had not seen. And it's wonderful because if you love your father, you love to hear more things about how he has been. Anyways, one of the phrases that struck me, and I need to revive my commonplace book again and write things like this in it. She learned from some other missionary, and now I can't remember who. It might have come down from, what's his face in China, oh man.
Anyway, Hudson Taylor?
Hudson Taylor, that's what I was going to say, but I might be wrong. I'd have to consult it. Anyways, she said it was a phrase that she learned and used many times in her life, which was learn to move men through God by prayer alone. Okay. And I was like, it was like when you meet one of these impassable people situations. Sure. Yeah. It was like learn to move people through God by prayer alone. Wow. Like without you trying to make things happen, like go to God. And then this was something that she'd been taught by another missionary, which then she applied in her life many times and thought of it as truer and truer as time went on. Interesting. That by just praying to God about people problems, you can move people. Interesting. Anyways, I thought that was a really, it's something that I feel like now I'm going to need to explore. No, that's really like good. This is something I need to think more on.
Look how long we've been talking.
Blah blah blah.
We should probably wrap this thing up.
Hot tips from us. Do we have any?
Do we indeed?
Oh, hot tip. I have one.
Hold on. This isn't even a tip. We have to say something. Rachel and I are going to do something we have never done before.
Oh, let's skip tips.
Yeah, okay.
No, we have a hot tip. Come to a conference in Fort Worth.
Rachel and I are going to speak at a conference together, which we've done that before, but only locally. We've never...
I was still like, no, we haven't.
Yeah, we have.
We've never flown anywhere together.
Rachel and I have never before gone on a trip together.
Why would we? I suppose.
Basically, we go on trips to hang out behind Goodwill and do podcasts in the car.
Or right now, next to whatever these things are.
It's a big hedge. We're kind of parked behind a big hedge in a neighborhood.
We're going to Fort Worth this time.
We are. We are flying together to Fort Worth. Tell us about this.
Yes.
Okay,
in October,
it's October 5th through 7th. It is a women's conference called Building a Culture of Biblical Femininity in the Home, Church, and Community. And I feel like there must be a website here. Okay, yeah. rockcreekbc.org is apparently the website where you can find more details. So if you happen to be in Fort Worth or in October, we're going to be there.
We will be there too.
We will be there having come together.
Yeah, and I think you're going to be talking about even exile and stuff, right?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about women.
We're talking about stuff.
Femininity.
Stuff that we talk about.
We're going to talk about some stuff that we talk about.
So you should come too.
So there's that.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be fun.
All right, well, have a joy-filled... When are we posting this?
That's a valid
I don't
question.
know. Whenever this finds you, it's kind of like a message in a bottle.
Just know that we're recording it.
We should have named it the podcast in a bottle.
Well, yeah, we could have. Casting our bottle upon the waters. And you will find it after many days.
I feel like we joke about this multiple times, don't we?
Do we?
Yeah, a portion for 7 and also for 8.
My kids always wondered when they were little, like, cast your bread upon the waters and you will find it after many days. It's like, that doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound appealing.
What does it mean?
You're like soggy breads coming back.
Oh, this is interesting. I recently mean today, because I was talking to someone last night. I think I mentioned that Jesus called Herod a sly fox once or something. Okay. Jesus said that fox, but he doesn't say it's a sly fox, and that's what everybody thinks he means when he says, like, we attribute, because people say a fox would be like a cunning or a wily person, but I just discovered that it is not that. It's not what it meant at the time. Okay. That they would say a lion was like a king, like a lion is like a big man, but a fox was like the not important. Like it's like saying he had like little man syndrome.
Really?
Because a saying would be like, you're a lion, the son of a lion, mean like you're an important man, the son of an important man.
Sure.
Or sometimes they would say, you're the fox, the son of a lion, like that your father was a great man, but you're kind of nothing.
Oh.
And so when Jesus says that Herod is a fox, he's kind of saying he's nothing of interest.
Interesting.
Yeah, he wasn't, but they were saying it's awkward because...
What prompted this?
Yeah. I think what prompted it was totally forgetting about the podcast and just wanting to tell you that. We should have stopped the recording before I got there. But guys, I think you needed to know that for your week. Don't be foxes. Be lions this week, ladies.
We're not doing a very graceful job of ending this podcast, but we did a really bad job of starting it. We had to try like 4 times.
Oh, man.
Which never happens. We kept getting very off and cracked up and weird and making strange noises and weird sentences.
All right, well, guys.
Now we're going to sign off.
We need to shut this down, and then I'm going to tell Becca some more unrelated tidbits. All right, goodbye.
New St. Andrews College thanks you for listening.